welcome to Can't Find My Way Home, the podcast where expats from around the globe talk about the music and art scene in their adopted home. I'm your host, Craig. In this episode of Can't Find My Way Home, I thought I'd try out something a bit different from the norm. This is the first part of the Guilty Pleasures special. In each episode, guests are asked for their top 5, and one of those questions is, what's your guilty pleasure? The answers are mostly music related, but from time to time, well, you'll hear for yourself. I'd like to thank Zahra Jaan, Adam Fields, Tommy Reynolds, Alex MacIntosh, Tom Daly, Amelia Judd, Michael Woods, Solibe and Ron Bandun, Andy Knowlton, Peter at Ninja News Japan, Anthony Garcia, Nick Barone, Brian Aylward, Mark Will, Caleb Sekeres, and Justin Lavash. First up, Zahra Jaan. Zahra, you fit for a top 5?
Yep.
Excellent.
Let's go for it. We
can mix a little bit of music and art here as well, yeah?
Yep, cool.
How about a guilty pleasure?
Okay, so my guilty pleasure, I'm not even embarrassed to admit it. I just really, really like bad 90s pop music. And I don't even know why I'm calling it bad, because I think 90s pop music was amazing. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that when I was a preteen, my favourite band of all time was E17. But I'm sorry, but I still think that they had really, really good songs. I still listen to them today sometimes, when I'm just feeling like a little bit nostalgic. What was that?
I remember them doing a Christmas song.
Oh, yeah, that was Stay Another Day. But that, the Christmas song was like, it was the commercial one. But they had he won an Ivor Novello for his writing, did Tony Mortimer. But yeah, they had much deeper songs than that. Like, they actually had a song called Deep. They had Steam, Been Around the World.
One titles, it's like,
They were really good. But general 90s pop music. I mean, obviously, I Take That and E17 were rivals, so I couldn't say that I like Take That.
Me too.
Yeah, bad 90s pop music. I love 90s dance music, E17.
Anything that kind of gets you off your feet in this sense.
Yeah, exactly. Guilty pleasures.
You on your feet, yeah. Both, I guess. Maybe both are applicable. Depends
Britney. I mean, I went to see Britney actually when I was pregnant with Teo, and it was one of the best gigs I ever went to. It was so good at Brighton Pride. So yeah, I'm not embarrassed to admit that. She's great.
What phase of her career was this at? Was this before or after the hair cutting incident?
Oh no, this was when I was pregnant with Teo.
Okay, so this is quite recent.
This is like 2018.
All right.
So less than 2 years
she's normal
ago,
again.
At Brighton Pride. She's normal again now. Yeah, she's normal again now. And she was playing all of her old hits. I think she did. I don't know how recent her last song is, but she played all of her old hits, which I really, really appreciated, because all of the music I love is from when I was growing up, basically.
Pop music
really
of a generation.
Stuff. Yeah, and that was that same year as well. We went to see Bjork in a festival in London, and I absolutely loved 90s Bjork, but she didn't play one of her 90s songs, and she played all of her new stuff, and it was really, really abstract, and I just couldn't get into it, so I was a bit disappointed after that gig. Yeah, I was like, I do love you, but I don't really get this stuff.
I mean, Bjork is completely bonkers in a very good way, but...
yeah, I love her. I do really, really still love her, but her 90s stuff, her earlier stuff, I can get into more than her recent stuff.
Big Time Sensuality?
Big Time Sensuality. I love that
And the video
song.
for that is completely mad as well. Like, she's got the ball and doing all this kind of crazy... Sugar Cubes are also great, the band she started out.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know them so much. No, I didn't know them. I just know her
A little more conventional Icelandic indie pop. Kind of, and then Bjork just took it to the next level, But fantastic, great choice. Who should we? A top 5 then, Adam. We can integrate a bit of music into this, but if you like. A guilty pleasure, we talked about guilty pleasure comedy-wise, but what about a guilty pleasure music-wise? Someone you shouldn't like, but you do.
I do like ABBA. I mean, maybe you're not supposed to like ABBA. Is it okay to like ABBA?
Perfectly acceptable.
Totally. That's a guilty pleasure. All right.
This is where I get to judge people. I'm like, no, it's not.
But I thought, guilty pleasure. Another if it's just music. Just music you're referring to.
Whatever you like, man.
I suppose the guilty pleasure we're all guilty of is being transfixed by Donald Trump. You know, we hate him. We want him to disappear, but you can't help watching, can you? I mean, I've been completely glued the last few days with the election.
They're still not finished yet.
Finished result. But we also just want to see the back of him, but you every time he speaks, you can't help look. It's watching a car crash.
You're peeking out the window.
You can't not look at the car crash, can you? It's.
Have you seen the clip of his spiritual advisor?
Oh my God! Just the oogity boogity woogity woo, oogity boogity woo.
Have you seen the remix version of that
with the music with the
cat? It's Eminem.
So the sort of like rave dance version.
Right, so this guy's just mashed it up. So you have her doing her mumbo jumbo in the corner. Eminem, I think it's Slim Shady. He's just playing. It's just that loop over and over again in the background, and a white cat doing this, kind of head banging along to it. It's fucking brilliant. It's so funny,
and it actually that probably makes more sense of it. Getting back to comedy, it's one of the hardest things in comedy at the moment is satirizing any of that. It's so beyond satire. You know, it's actually you think Trump would be a gift for satirists, and in some respects, yes, but in other respects, you go, well, it's beyond satire.
Yeah, go for it, man.
TLC. They're like an all-girl 90s. Yes, don't go.
It's a great song.
But they have that song Scrubs.
Oh, no Scrubs. Yeah, that's good as well.
Yeah, no Scrubs. Yeah.
Yeah, they were okay.
There's just something about that. Yeah. I mean, not, it was just kind of like that hypercolor 90s time. It just reminds you of just fun. You know what I mean? Like
well, here's the difference with pop music. That's the people we've just kind of tore Ed Sheeran a new one twice. And then both of us agreed that TLC were great. You know, it's
TLC. Sure, yeah.
What do we know?
Like, fuck that Ed Sheeran guy. Yeah.
Oh, he is rubbish,
TLC is the shit. No, I get a lot of like, oh God, there's so many guilty pleasures. Like even the Come On Eileen song, 80s hair metal. If I'm gonna do guilty pleasure, it has to be a genre. And I think like TLC is like a couple songs, but if I'm thinking genre, like that's a real guilty pleasure of mine that many people that know me don't hear it, like Poison, Talk Dirty to Me, Cinderella, Warrant, Skid Row,
Rat,
Wasp, Rat, God, all that, Motley Crue, Girls,
No Man of War.
Oh yeah, God, that big hairspray and Spandex, and yeah,
Striker, I don't know, was
Striper.
I'm digging them all out now, man.
Yeah, no. Did you see the Killer Hornets, man? The Killer Hornets.
God, have you seen these things? They're super scary.
Yeah.
I have a playlist on YouTube where I kind of put all of these. So there's some great hair metal choices there, Tommy, that I'll add to the list.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Tommy? Like, how about we have a look at a top 5?
Yeah, sure.
Tell us about a guilty pleasure. Someone I always word this like this. Someone you shouldn't like what you do, but I don't really mean it in the sense that you shouldn't like something. It's just, it might not be on your normal playlist. Let's put it that way.
Okay. So that's definitely going to be Harry Styles.
Ooh.
And every time there's a song that comes out, it's I kind of catch myself that's a good beat or something, and then I hear the voice and I'm like, of course it's him. This country is wild for Watermelon Sugar right now.
Okay.
And I hear the song.
Is that his single or the album? I don't know.
It's the single right now, I believe. Yeah. So I call it my guilty pleasure because like I I never go and I never take the leap and get the album, but I do like the songs, and I sing them in karaoke sometimes.
Oh,
and
you'll dip in and out of it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just don't tell anyone, but it's too late now. It's out in the bag, All right, Harry Styles, there's a new one to add to the list. Okay. Tom, how about a guilty pleasure? A band, an artist, a song that you shouldn't like, but you do?
George Michael from the Listen Without Prejudice album. I love that album.
I'm trying to remember some of the songs on it now. Yeah, it was
Jesus to a Child.
Jesus to a Child, okay.
That was probably one of the lamer ones, but Waiting for That Day, the video that he had all the supermodels on.
Yeah, right.
He did the version of Stevie Wonder's I Won't Go. But it was a very breakout album for him, but I've always liked listening to that.
Is it not just like a plain white cover, the album sleeve?
I don't recall. I mean,
I have a picture. Yeah, very.
Over to computer back like 20 years ago or 15 years ago. So I sold all the CDs, so I don't remember what the album title looked like. I think it was black and white. It looked like there was a lot of people on the like the crowd.
But yeah, a great singer, great performer, bit of a troubled character, like many in the music business are or end up this way. But yeah, no, that's not a bad call. I'll give you that one. You get a pass. Amelia, what about a guilty pleasure? Someone you shouldn't like, but you do?
Well, I still listen to a lot of the pop music from when I was young. Like, I still listen to, like, my old Busted CD and things like
Michael,
that.
Have you had the pleasure of listening to Busted?
To whom?
Yeah, no.
Exactly, yeah.
But I don't really call it a guilty pleasure, though, because I'm just like, this is what I like, so
right.
I don't feel guilty. But yeah, also, like, I just love cheesy pop. Oh, and I like, but Busted, I still really like them. And actually, they got back together, so I listen to all their new stuff too.
Yay!
Yay!
Michael, that's your mission for the rest of today, man. You can go check out all those Busted videos, because it's
Busted, right? You said Busted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess they're based in the UK.
Yeah, they were like.
UK. Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of, because I was about 12 maybe when they were really popular, but their stuff was quite gimmicky. But
was there a gimmick not they could actually play an instrument? Was that not the
they can play. They can play.
Okay,
that's a common misconception, but they can actually play the guitar.
They must be old now, then, right? So they've plenty of practice.
They're like mid-30s now, I think. But like, I think because when they would be on like a live show, they probably were miming, so it didn't look like they were really playing.
Yeah.
And they also used to do that little jump, like when they would do the little jump, and then it just but I still listen to them.
You're a fan of K-pop, Amelia?
Yeah, I am actually. I do like pop. I'm a big fan of pop, but it's not all I listen to. But yeah, K-pop's great. I was actually at Noribang last night, and I sang Dynamite by BTS, the new one. So yeah, it's good.
Michael, how about you? A guilty pleasure?
Project Pat from Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, you probably don't know who this guy is. He's a rapper, and he puts out, I guess, what people would consider trash rap, but it's something that I used to listen to like in my formative years, and it just kind of, some days I just want to throw them on and sit back and have a beer. I mean, like one of his most popular songs is a song called Chicken Heads, and it's about. Do you know what a chicken head is?
No.
Do tell.
It's about I guess it's the equivalent of in the UK of what guys call a bird. A very, very pejorative word. Yeah. See, he's rapping about girls that he's done whatever to. And Amelia, I'm sorry, I do apologize. Okay. But this is why it's called a guilty pleasure, I guess. Got my head down.
That fills in a lot of blanks there. Yeah. Michael, how's your Scouse? You were in Liverpool for a while then, yeah? How's your Scouse? And you're Italian, that's and you're Korean, that's an eclectic mix right there.
Oh, I guess it is. My Scouse, that was back 2014 when I left. Is it cracking? Oh, it's cracking good. Anyways, I'm not gonna try, man. Not gonna try.
Did it just take you a while to recognize what this was actual like words people were saying to you? You know? Oh
man, like my roommate, like it took me a few months like to get a hold of his accent, and like he's like a proper bloke, you know, like just a Scouser. Yeah, yeah, he'd be watching football and like, hey man, you wanna watch telly with me? You know, like, yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was like almost like I was back home in Tennessee, but I just couldn't understand what the guy was saying. My Italian's okay. Like I've forgotten quite a bit of it, but I guess you know how it is if you practice. Yeah, I took lessons for a few months when I was there. You know, Italian is a Romance language, so it's not for us. It's not that hard to learn.
Yeah, and maybe in many ways it's the anti-Scouse, you know. Nothing against Scouse. Speaking as a Glaswegian myself, I think I can say this. I qualify in many different ways. Who should we be listening to and why?
I don't know if people know this writer, but he's Sidney Sheldon. Does he ring a bell?
So, I've heard of Sidney Sheldon.
Yeah, I used to love him when I was in my early teens. Like I would read all of his books, and he was actually the writer that inspired me to want to become one. So later on, when I found out that he has such a bad reputation, I was so shocked. I was so sad. But I still love his stories and books. Yeah.
And Ron, I guess we can answer this musically, or
I'd prefer musically. I don't listen to any K-pop at all, but I do love listening to North Korean pop music, which I probably shouldn't.
Is there a place that we can listen together?
You really can just go online and Google North Korean. Pocheonbo Electronic Ensemble. That's a place to start. I like the stuff from the Kim Jong-il era better than the Kim Jong-un era. So to sound like a bit of a snob for a second. But yeah, Pocheonbo. That would be probably enough to get autocomplete to fill in the rest. And you can find somebody will put on like a 70-minute album on YouTube that you can listen to all the way through.
Wow. Is it like one of those performances where like girls wear hanbok and they hold hands across their chests and like they sing, you know, in that particular
a little bit, but they don't have hanbok in North Korea. They call it joseonot.
Oh, makes sense. Huh.
Yeah, and yeah, they do wear that. There's fairly large orchestras that are making like kind of somewhat modern popish music.
Wow.
I think what's the current one? Samji Orchestra. It's like all girls and they play the instruments themselves and stuff. So there's quite a lot of musicianship that goes into them. But of course all the songs are praising their leadership.
What is the appeal? Is it? I'm sure it's different from other kinds of pop, but
it's kind of old-fashioned sounding and reminds me of trot music a little bit.
Which is making a comeback these days in Korea. Which Craig, I guess you don't know.
Has it ever gone away though? I mean, trot is it's
good question. But
it's a bit like the river hand that runs through the city. You know, it's omnipresent.
Oh yeah, when you bike these people, biking along the Han River, they blast the trot music everywhere. But yeah, it's even more popular these days.
Is there someone we should be listening to?
Audition TV shows that have brought it back.
Yeah.
Well,
I like that music too.
Sorry, go on, Ron.
No, I'm mostly done, but I do want to add this anecdote. Since we mentioned trot, about around 2007, I used to be involved in a group of DJs in Hongdae, and we would put on like DJ nights at Club DGBD, which is still there, and we would have like reggae and soul and stuff like that. One time, as a joke, I booked my friend to join us, and he was going to bring his Pongjak collection. And the whole night was a disaster. Like, we didn't get that many people, like never more than 20. And at the very end was...
There's one song that I've been listening to for the past couple of years that I put on repeat. It's, you know, the song Crimson and Clover? Tommy James and the Shondells.
Oh, yeah, okay. Tommy James and the Shondells, I know, yeah.
I don't know why. I really like this song, but every time I play it, I'm like, should I like this? Is anybody watching me? Like, can anybody hear me? I don't know why I really feel weird listening to it. I listen to it over and over, and I'm like, this song is awesome. But I don't feel comfortable when I'm playing it for some reason. I don't know if I should like it.
On the plus side, it could be much, much worse.
I guess so. Yes.
You could be listening to a whole plethora of things that just it's this kind of the ninth ring of hell or whatever, right?
It's a strange feeling to feel so guilty about it, though.
Yeah, Tommy James and the Shondells. Hey, Money Money was the song that they did, if I remember rightly. But that's me being a music nerd.
Yeah,
good call. Top five questions. First one, something like a guilty pleasure.
You want music? Because we can talk about music.
Go for it, man.
I have gotten very into, don't know if it's Punjabi or Indian dance music in the last little while. There's a guy, they've started mixing it with hip hop and they've started mixing it with dance music. There's a really famous song, like I know you've heard it if you spent time on the internet, Punjabi MC. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why that really appealed to me. Started listening. I can't give you any names or anything is the problem, but this sort of hip hop feeling from sort of the Indian subcontinent is really jiving with me as an incredibly white Irish guy, which is a weird combination.
Yes, it works, man.
No, it's so good. It's the sitar and the tabla and stuff, and it's all going, and then they put in like a hip hop beat. People are always dancing. Oh, it's all stuff. Maybe it's just joyful. You know, a lot of music just doesn't actually. It's not as joyful. Like pop music is created. It's the factories turn out pop music. So I actually don't feel any joy there. And when I was young, it was punk rock, and that's all angry. And maybe I've just hitting a point where I want things to be happy. And this is really happy music, and it's. I don't know what he's saying. He might actually be saying horrible stuff. But I mean, at least the feeling is there.
Yeah. Well, I can safely say you're the first one who's given us that answer. I'm quite surprised, pleasantly so.
Well, I think this is, again, it's the thing of spending. I clearly have a big chunk of my life on the internet, and so that internet influence opens up the opportunity to like just hear things you wouldn't normally hear. And so you just click on something you listen to. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'll keep clicking, and you get down a rabbit hole. I ended up, just dun, da, 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 and then it's just, and I was like, I don't know why this is really hitting home for me.
What about go-to karaoke song? Do you have time for a top five?
Yeah, sure.
What's a guilty pleasure for you, Anthony? Something that maybe you shouldn't like, but you do, you know?
Man, it's really funny. I really, like I mentioned before, I love electronica music. It's so funny. That's what I have playing at home. And it's kind of like, I guess it's funny because when I'm at home streaming, I found some really great online radio stations for this, by the way, but I'll be streaming it and I'm like, man, if any of my friends walked into my room and heard this going on, it kind of sounds like either I'm listening to the Weather Channel or I'm like in some kind of like some club, man. Like, I just have it on my a stereo all the time. That would be kind of one of my guilty pleasures, but I don't really feel too guilty about it. I like it. I think it's just some music friends would probably be like, really? You listen to this?
That's it.
Yeah. Or classical music. I have classical music and that music going on. I don't listen to like at home. I don't listen to rock or I don't listen to anything like that. I mean, I don't listen to rock and roll songwriters. I don't listen to, anything like that. So it's kind of funny. That would be one of them.
Excellent. This takes us into
Well, I don't know if I shouldn't, but I guess I do. I'll try to think of something that's more recent lately. I should go with Cyndi Lauper. I've been playing that a lot for some reason. That I don't know if I shouldn't. I think for me, she exemplified everything that was great about pop music as a kid and seeing her on MTV. She's still winning Grammys too. She plays blues music now. So I mean, there's nothing that won't bring a tear to your eye like hearing True Colors.
You just read my mind again, because I was going to say True Colors is a great pop song, I think.
Oh yeah, she's got some really, really good ones.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a bad call. Yeah, it's guilty pleasure with a small G then, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's acceptable. You're all right. So.
Bon Jovi, man. Bon Jovi.
It's not bad, actually. Yeah, they did get a couple.
It's not bad, but not a lot of people. Listen, I'm not the only one. They sold 110 million records, so somebody else likes.
Yeah, it's a fact. I
grew up on that, right? I grew up on that. That was before the internet. So back in the day, right, you had your radio and you had your 2 stations. You had your top 40 countdown, and that was it. And when 1987, Slippery When Wet album came out, I'm a 12-year-old boy, with all kinds of feelings. So I graduated to it till Guns N' Roses came along in '89.
Oh, it's not a bad way in, I suppose, man.
No, Bon Jovi's all right.
Yeah. I think they got a new album coming out soon, I heard. Or they get a new song out anyway. But yeah, he's done all right for himself, I think, John Bon Jovi. Right?
Oh my God, they're crushing it. They haven't had a good song since It's My Life, so I'll check the new stuff out, but it's been pretty shit lately.
Yeah. I think the old stuff's always in the can, right? You can always go back to it. Question 3 then. How about...
All right, well, I hate to admit this, but I really like ABBA.
Oh, yeah, it's not the worst, eh? I was thinking the same, When I was putting this together, I thought, it's definitely not the worst, that's for sure.
I mean, their songs are so infectious. Their lyrics are pretty insipid most of the time, but such amazing melodies and arrangements. And, I mean, it's just, you just feel happy listening to them, singing along with them. It's I don't know, it's pretty good stuff. I guess they're hits, let's say. Maybe if you listen to a whole album, you'll find some garbage on there. I don't know, but their hits are just gold.
I think that's the name of the album, isn't it? It's Gold or whatever, or it's Gold Letters. Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you won't really find a bad track till it gets near the end of the career. Was it Super Trooper and all that? It gets a bit.
Yeah.
But all the early stuff's just fantastic,
Well, I've got another one for you too.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Hall and Oates.
Oh yeah. Abandoned Luncheonette's a great album.
Okay. So I don't have to feel guilty about it.
No. I don't know. I guess I have all these dark secrets too, eh? So Caleb, how about we talk about some of the top 5? How about a guilty pleasure? We can amend this in whatever way you like. So a guilty pleasure, I would say someone you should like, but someone you shouldn't. Someone you shouldn't like, but you do. Yeah, you can tell I've never done this before.
I'm gonna say 2 things. A guilty pleasure. I'll do something I like that I shouldn't.
Okay.
Bubble gum. Since my childhood, I chew gum like nobody should chew gum. I fiercely go through bubble gum. The sweeter, the better. A person that I like that I shouldn't like.
Yeah, musically I'm thinking, or artistically in some way. Could be an author, could be a musician.
For me, that's a tough one because I feel like if I like them, I'm meant to like them. But I that's a tough one. I want to say in the movies, I like Bill Burr, is it, the comedian? He's funny as hell, but he's also offensive in a way I don't like. I think he's very sexist in his humor. So when I watch it, I feel like I shouldn't like this with my academic background and school was very PC, but I like it.
Justin, you get time for a top 5?
We can try, yeah.
Let's go for it. A guilty pleasure. Someone you shouldn't like, but you do. That's the way I brand this question.
Right, and someone I shouldn't like that. You know, there's one song I like by, do you know Andrew, you're younger than me, do you know Andrew Gold? It's a really cheesy song called...
I think I know what you're going to say, actually.
Yeah. But I love her. She's good.
Never going to let her go or something?
Never let her slip away.
Never let her slip away. Okay, yes, I do know it.
And I think it's a great song, you know. And I think when I was working in cabaret, we were working with these really loud, but horrible, shitty, boisterous gigs, you know. And then that song was on the playlist in the venue I worked in, and there was something very refreshing about it, even though it is so cheesy. And then when you asked me, you mentioned that might be one of the questions. I looked it up out of interest, just to see what Andrew Gold is doing nowadays. And I noticed that Dave Grohl had actually listed that song as a song that he would like to cover.
You're a pioneer in many ways. Then.
Exactly. Well, me and Dave Grohl, that's what we should do together. And then what he would do with that song, I do not know, because I think that would be a surprising mix, wouldn't it? Dave Grohl covering that song.
Yeah. For me personally, I'd like to see Dave Grohl do Christopher Cross. You know the song Sailing?
Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah, that would be funny.
Ride Like the Wind or something like that, you know, or
Yeah,
Sailing or something. Who should we be listening to and why, Justin?
You can follow Can't Find My Way Home on Instagram at can't.findmywayhome, on Facebook at Expat Music Pod, and of course you can find us on Spotify, Anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts from, you'll find us there. Until the next one, this is Greg saying cheers.